to share my experiences
Thank you,
with
sir.
the student of the MBA.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think, sir, if you give me the permission, shall I formally welcome Dr. Srivastava, Vice
Yes,
Chancellor?
please.
Thank you, sir. To all my students, from behalf of ICFA University, Dehradun, I welcome Dr. R.C. Srivastava, who is the Welfare Commissioner at Dehradun, to this Thought Leader webinar series session. I also welcome our Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Mudhu Vinay, and Registrar Brigadier Rajiv Sethi, sir. I have been, in fact, telling to my students, and it is a pleasure again sharing it with Dr. Srivastava, that under the leadership of Professor Dr. Mudhu Vinay, ICFA University Dehradun has scaled significant heights, and we have been ranked 44th amongst the top 50 universities globally. We have recently been ranked number one in the B schools. IBS Dehradun has been ranked as number one B school in Uttarakhand by CSR GHRDC. Last week only we have got this. And it is again a pleasure to share with you, sir, that our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Mudhu Vinay, has been acknowledged with the Vice Chancellor of the Year 2020 award in the state of Uttarakhand. For all my students, Dr. R.C. Srivastava is the Welfare Commissioner, and sir is an officer of 1996 batch of Central Labor Service Government of India, and has been selected through UPSC. He is presently posted as Welfare Commissioner Dehradun for the state of Delhi, Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, Jammu, Uttarakhand, and Himachal Pradesh. He has a significant experience under his belt, and it's a pleasure to have him here. Industrial relations and human resource management. It is the area which he'll be talking about. We all know that industrial relations and HRM, it's a branch of study that is designed to prepare the students for careers in the field of employment relations, HRM, workplace changes, adult education and training, and the other related areas. The students, those who are pursuing this, are expected to master a variety of skills in education studies, in HRM, in labor studies, and psychology as well. I invite Dr. Ashish Srivastava, our guest, who is the Welfare Commissioner at Dehradun, for sharing his insights on industrial HRM and industrial relations. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sandeep. And again, thanks to academic management of the ICFA University, they have given an opportunity to interact with the eminent professor of the ICFA University, as well as the student of MBA, who is going to be future professional in the field of the HRM management and industrial relation. Now, I'm going to start the session. HRM, human resource management. Whatever I will speak, that will be based my experiences. Though I prepared a PPT, but PPT is a sake of satisfaction, because you all the professor already delivered lecture on these theoretical aspect, and the student are knowing all the things in the classroom, and I will supplement it with the practical exposure. Human resource management, basically the new nomenclature in the area of the management. Previously it was known as a personal management. In the 80s, human resource management word was started widely recognizing the manpower engaged in the industry. Here we are going to discuss about the industrial HRM. That's why I use the word industry. Because to start any industry, Formerly, four things was required. Four things is required: men, money, machine, and material. During the era of the personal management, these four things were recognizing: men, money, machine, and material. The man, out of these four resources, only man was the living element and other things was non-living element. Therefore, it was a very difficult to manage the men engaged in the organization. Now the concept came: men, money, machine, and material. Then what methods we will use to maximum utilization of these resources in the organization to achieve the organization goal, which was the maximum profit at the minimum cost. Again, this 5 formula M was extended again to measure the efficiency of the employee as well as proper utilization of other resources. Then came one again measurement. So now, which was the 4M converted into 6M: men, machine, material, money, methods, and measurement. Human resources. Why it is required to run any business organization, industrial organization, besides so many automation, besides so many technical changes, man is at a key places. And why man will perform the key places? It is the responsibility of the management who deals with the manpower. That's why it is called that human resource management is that branch of the management. Human resource management is that branch of management which it deals with the manpower engaged in the organization, and it is primarily concerned with the manpower planning, process of recruitment, selection of employees, induction of employees, training and development, appraising the performance of employees, deciding compensation, providing benefit, grievance handling, motivating employees, maintaining proper relation with the employee and trade union, maintaining industrial relation, ensuring employee safety, health, welfare, and compliance with the labor law of the land. Manpower planning. What is? Manpower planning is basically, it's like a definition. Planning is the deciding in advance. Planning is the deciding in advance how many manpower is required in the particular section. If we are starting any organization, then we have to make plan of the manpower to be engaged to run the organization, and it is the responsibility of the human resource management to make a plan for the manpower planning. And this manpower planning, in the beginning, it requires for short-term manpower planning and long-term manpower planning. If you are going to start the business, then in starting, short time manpower planning is required, and when you will run the organization full place, then long-term planning is required. This short-term planning require for 1 year or 2 year, and manpower planning is normally required for 5 years or more. When we decide how many manpower is required and in which category, that is, say it unskilled, semi-skilled, skilled, highly skilled, technical, supervisory, executives, middle level management, and top level management, then it is to be decided by the human resource management, and the human resource management explain the things before the board of director, that is managing director or chairman can managing director, why this manpower is required for the organization. Then when we complete this task, manpower planning, how many is required, then we decide the process of recruitment. What should be the process of recruitment? It should be through open advertisement or through placement agencies or through campus interview. But normally for fresher, you may go for this placement agency. But if you require the experienced person, then you have to go for the open advertisement, those who are having the wider experience in the relevant field for the middle level and top level executives. Even you can go for this for the placement agencies or recruitment agencies, those who are hiring the middle level and top level executive for the organization. Then when recruitment process is basically it's nothing, it is inviting to a prosperous candidate to apply for the job. Now the selections comes. Selection of the employees. Selection of employee depends upon your organizational needs. And one of the best method is that you have to choose the right person for the right job. It is a difficult task. That's why sometimes it is called that psychologist is required to sit in the interview board to read the psychology. So selection process is very important, that you have to select the right person for the right job for the organization. Suppose a person is having interest in the HRM and his specialization major is HRM and minor is the marketing. And if he is not having the extrovert qualities, how to sell the goods, and he joins the job of the marketing, he will not be able to justify his job. He cannot utilize his potential because the organization engaged not the right person for the right job. He was the right person for the HR, whereas by any reason he joined the marketing. The same is vice versa. If a person is having interest in the marketing and the marketing is called that if you are having ability, then sky is the limit for your progress and promotion. And if he is having the attitude and aptitude for the marketing, then if you will put him in a HRM or finance, he will not be able to justify his job. So selection is very important, that you select the right person for the right job. When you select the employee, then you have to induct the employee in the organization, give induction to him, and explain about the organization and the job. Training and development comes after that. In the training, you have to give training to the employee for their development, to soldier the higher responsibility or give better performance. Soldier the higher responsibility and better performance definitely contribute to the organization in all respect. Appraising the performance of the employees. This is very important, very important nowadays, and from the previous also it was important, but now it is very important for the employee to appraise their performance at the workplace. How he is performing? It is a responsibility of the supervisor to appraise the performance of employees at monthly basis and try to point out his strength and shortcoming. Why it is required? So if the supervisor rate the performance of the employees, then he will be able to give emphasis on his strength and will be able in a position to guide him to overcome by the shortcoming so that he can perform better. He can use his efficiency and knowledge for the assigned work. I will give an example in the government. Now, in the government, also there is a concept of performance of the employees. Formerly, it was called as a ACR annual confidential report. It was a confidential to be written by the superior boss. Now, it is called as a annual performance appraisal report (APAR). Formerly, the system was the excellent, very good, good, and average and below average. For non-executive, good was the benchmark for the promotion, and for middle level executive, it was a very good. If you are getting the performance appraisal below the very good, then you will not get a promotion in the higher rank because your performance is not up to the mark to go to higher responsibilities. Secondly, now it has been changed in a grading system 1 to 10. If you are getting more than 8 marks, then your performance are treated as a outstanding. Then you will be get a promotion for the higher rank. And if you are getting less than 6 marks in the middle level executive, you are not going to be promoted. So appraising the performance of employee required everywhere, either in the private or in the government. And now it is a nobody wants to keep the person who is a non-performer. Every person wants the performer. Deciding compensation. It is the responsibility of the HRM department to decide compensation. What is compensation? Means pay and perks. In which scale some organization, big organization like Tata and other big organization, they are having the pay scale for non-executive, junior level executive, middle level executive, and top level executive. So what pay and perks to be given? Normally, it is decided at the time of interview what you are getting and what you will take. Suppose a person is saying that I am getting 10 lakh CTC and his demand is 15 lakh CTC. So, and if in negotiation it comes as a 14 lakh CTC, then again matter comes to the HR department, how and what will be the breakup of his pay and perks, what will be the basic salary, what will be the DA, what will be the HRA, what will be the conveyance allowance, what will be the medical, what about this PF, contributory provident fund, and other allowances. It is to be decided by the HR department. Providing benefit. Besides pay and perks, most of the industry providing other benefit also, like canteen facility, like transport facility to and fro from home. It is also to be decided by the HR department. Grievance handling. This is the very important work of the HR department. If they ignore this grievance handling, it means they are going to invite poor industrial relation and conflict in the organization. So though it seems a very small things, but same time it is a main root cause of the poor industrial relation and conflict in the organization between the management, worker, oblique, trade union. Motivating employees. It is also responsibility of the HR department to motivate the employees. This motivator may be of two type, monetary or non-monetary. It depends upon the organization policy. Maintaining proper relation with the employees and trade union. This is also very important in the industrial HRM to maintain the proper industrial relation. Maintaining proper relation with the employees means you have to maintain good human relation approach with the employees and cordial relation with the trade union. Trade union should think it that HR manager is there to look after our grievances. Whatever he will put our problems before the top management as per rule. So you have to develop your faith in the trade union. Yes, whatever HR manager will say, that will be acceptable to us. Employees should feel free that they may come to you to say their grievances. If you will not timely resolve the grievances, if you will not maintain the proper relation with the employee, then it may go up to any extent like disruption in the production, strike, or go slow tactics. Maintaining industrial relation. Industrial relation or maintaining industrial relation is the main job of the HR managers or HR department or HR management. It is said that if there is a good industrial relation between the management and union oblique employee, then industry will be prosperous, and employee will be motivated. There will be good coordination between various departments of the organization, and a peaceful environment will give result in the higher production, higher productivity of the employees, and good name of the organization. Ensuring employee safety, health, welfare in compliance with the labor law of the land. eh, Though it is very small things, ensuring employee safety, health, and welfare in compliance with the labor law of the land, it is a responsibility of the human resource management to guide the top management that safety, health, and welfare of the employee to be looked after as per the norms given under the labor law. Normally, safety, health, and welfare comes under the Factory Act 1948. Why it was given in the Factory Act 1948? Normally, during Second World War 1939 to 1945, there was a Second World War, and during that period, more emphasis was given on this production only. People were bound to stay in the factory for 18 hours, 20 hours, 24 hours, and there was no proper provision for the safety, health, and welfare of the workers. Therefore, when India got independence, then Factory Act 1948 was enacted, and first thing was given preference on safety and health, and welfare of the employee. Under Section 49 of the Factory Act 98, there is a provision of the welfare officer where there are more than 500 workers working. There should be a statutory requirement to appoint the labor welfare officer who is having qualification in the field of the postgraduate in personal management, industrial relations, labor law, labor welfare, or social work or social services. And this is the statutory requirement. Coming to the point, again, why if you go to see human resource management, you see there is a three word: human resource and management. Human resource refers to the unskilled, semi-skilled, skilled, highly skilled, technical, non-technical, and executives. Executives at odd level, either lower level executive, middle level executive, top level executive. Researcher refers to the limited availability, and management refers to how to optimize and make best use of such limited or scarce resources so as to meet the organization goal and objectives. Human, whatever human we engage in the organization, as per our need, sometimes we need the unskilled labor for a particular time. Then when he learned so many things, he becomes the semi-skilled. Then again, after having some experience, he became skilled, and later on highly skilled. Then we recruit the technical person, non-technical person, and executive. Resource, resource we can say is a limited thing, because we have to find out what is resource for our organization and how we can use the manpower as a resource like other material and machine. Management, best part. and difficult part for you or HR managers make the best use of such limited or scarce resources so as to meet the organizational goal and objectives. It is a basic function of the management. Whatever they will do, their focus should be to achieve the organizational goal and objective for which the organization or industrial management or industry are established or factory are established. So responsibility comes on the human resource management. As a human resource management, as a human resource manager, you have to keep watch on the manpower. You develop during a period of time. This is called as a peacetime relationship. Peacetime relationship always beneficial for the HR managers. When any disturbance arises during that period, you will be able to move in the mob and your distrust will be beneficial for you. How you have to develop your rapport, how you have to develop your things, how you have to judge in the organization as HR manager to optimize the efficiency of an employee. I will tell you an example. I was working as executive HR in an electronic industry. They were manufacturing SMPS switch mode power supply TV for Electronic Corporation of India Limited, Uptron, and some other brands. And I was just completed my 6 month as a management trainee, and I was given an opportunity of this executive admin and HR. Approximately workforce, mostly they were engineers, and boys and girls were normally high school science or intermediate science. Some were on there were chain line work. So they were discussing when they were doing the work on the table, making harness, fitting cabinet, fitting this picture tube and sound box and all the things. There was a big problem for the management. So they were discussing. Whenever supervisor goes out or discuss with someone, they started to chatting. It was my experiment on that. It was a big problem, and I was new for that, only having 6 month experience in this area. I thought, I discussed with the general manager, why not we start a music, light music in this during in the production hall, so that they stop the chatting. GM told me, what you are saying, is it possible? I go, why not possible? When the music will be continued, they will do the work, they will sit on their chair, and they will not do forecasting with another fellow by any bahana or any things. And later on, a meeting was conveyed, and CMD told, yes, you go far ahead for a week. We will see on a week. And there was a tremendous change in the production hall. Everyone was listening and doing their work properly, and there was no chit chatting in the hall. Only sound music was going on, and everyone was busy in their work. Sometimes we see how you have to judge, how you have to, this formula cannot be fit in another organization, but it was fit in that particular organization. HRM, there is no fixed formula to apply in the organization. You have to observe, perceive, and apply according to the organization. It was fit in the this electronic industry, but it cannot be fit in the process industry. It cannot be fit in the cement industry. It cannot be fit in the manufacturing process industry. Secondly, one thing I will tell you, I was working in the ordnance factory, Kanpur. It was a defense factory, and there was a huge workforce around. You can say 10,000 workers were there, and there was a dharna on the gate, and it was continued for the last 10 days. So one day there was a heavy rain, and just I was coming from the my residence, which was in a colony. So when just I go ahead from my house, some 2-3 leaders met me. उन्होंने कहा कि सर देखिए, you can see our houses, there is a water in the house, and wife and children are not able to make the even breakfast because due to water in the house. It was hardly 6 inch water in their drawing room also. Just I went in some houses along with the 4-5, though they were not a very prominent leader, but they were union leaders. Then suddenly it strikes in mind, if I will suggest to the management to send something breakfast or lunch to their family, definitely this strike may be call off and they may go out. It was came in the mind, and I discussed with this union what should be. Well, we are not going to join job today because we could not get the breakfast or lunch. I went and discussed with the senior union. They called me, why you are coming at 11:30? I'm like, just I told ki I was moving in the colony area and I have seen the water in their house. And sir, I assure, if we will provide puri and sabji to their family, definitely I will be able to call off this strike. They told, is it possible? Yes. At that time, I was looking after this cantinas also, canteen management also. Then I went outside. I discussed with the trade union leader, and I told that I came not on behalf of the management as a assistant labor commissioner, assistant labor welfare commissioner. I have seen the situation of your house. Is it better if you will distribute the puri sabji in the colony to your family and your colleague family? They agreed on that point, and puri sabji was started. They distributed the family, and the strike was called off, which was continuing for last 10 days. So you may say that if you are innovative, you observe as a psychologist, as a human relation approach, as a sociologist, then definitely you will define this thing. I was working as assistant labor welfare commissioner, from where I did my PhD. Human resource development as a tool of effectiveness, it correlation with the general administration, industrial relation, productivity, and profitability. This industry was established in 1820, and it is the biggest industry in the Asia, established during the period of the British rural, and it is a state subject, and normally staff are of the Central Narcotics Bureau, and you have seen last time on the TV 1 month before, okay, what is the role of the Central Narcotic Bureau in the case of Riya Chakrabarti and all, and how they can do the things. All staff were of the Central Narcotic Bureau, and the general manager become the Indian Revenue Service Custom and Excise, and they are a full security of that. Workers were very arrogant. They belongs to the village area, and they were coming in the this dhoti and kurta and pajama kurta, and nobody is wearing the dress. And I rated this thing. I contacted to the NTC, National Textile Corporation. I discussed with the GM. I fixed a shop and provided 2 set of uniform to them, and called this tailor master and take the nap of everyone. And you will surprise that after 4 months, every worker were coming in the proper dress with the identity card. So when you be do this thing, I started their seminar, de-addiction, what not to do, health checkup camp. I started so many health checkup camp. Role and responsibility of the trade union to maintain the industrial relation. There I called the trade union leader and to speak on the dais, because you people start this industrial relation problem. Then speak your role. Now I minimized it. So you have to be in the close contact with it. I visited one shop every day. I asked the workers, what is your problem? If anyone is having problem, I noted it down. I write it to the particular section, paste on the notice board, and give it to the management. And you will think that I maintain industrial relation like anything. Union were started to tell whatever our ALWC, Assistant Labor Welfare Commissioner, will say, it will be acceptable to me. I'm not going to listen the management, whatever we will see. Because when you will win the trust of the management and the union, you will be a successful HR manager. And if you will be the successful HR manager, you will maintain the industrial relation. Then again, coming to the industrial relation. Industrial relation or employment relation is a relation between the employer, employees and trade union. Daily order defines the relation between the management and employer or among employee and their organization that grow out of the employment. Basic thing is that industrial relation, why it is it? It arises due to industry, because you are working in industry, and when started, then it is due to industry because you are working in the industry. But one thing, you have to develop a things in the mind of the management as well as the worker. Not it is one-sided. Management also, if worker is part of industry, you are also should be part of the worker. Then again, industrial relation. I will tell you one thing. To maintain the industrial relation, there is a 3 labor laws. There is a 3 labor laws. One is the Trade Union Act 1926. In the language of the International Labor Organization, it is called as a 3 actors. Second, government agencies, and third is the employer. Three actors, and it is their responsibility to maintain the industrial relation. There are three laws which maintain the industrial relation. Trade Union Act 1926. It was just started after the First World War, 1919 to 1924, and after that there was too much exploitation of the worker, so that worker united and started to raise their voices, and now it came in the result of the enactment of the Trade Union 1926. During that period also, though it is not an industrial relation law, but Workmen Compensation Act enacted 1923 to provide the compensation to loss or injury, loss of capacity to do the job, or in death cases like that. Then second act of the industrial relation is the Employment Standing Order Act 1946. As per this, those industries who are having more than 100 employees, they have to their certified standing order, and this standing order contain the classification of the employee leave and other service rule applicable to that particular industry. And third came as a Industrial Dispute Act 1947. It's called as a Bible of the labor law because whatever dispute will come between the union and management, you have to go for the resolving the industrial dispute as per the provision given in the Industrial Dispute Act. That's why in Industrial Dispute Act, the word industry has been defined, whether it is industry or not. Then what is the industrial use, which will come under the industrial use, who is the conciliation officer, and what conciliation officer will do, and after conciliation officer, where the matter will go for the adjudication to the, that is called the labor court, and how the dispute will be settled. As a officer in the Ministry of Labor, as a officer of the Ministry of Labor, approximate 15 years I work as a labor commissioner, and approximate more than 1500 industrial dispute. I decided, not you can say decided, I handled. In most of the cases, I referred the matter to for the adjudication, and in most of the cases, there was settlement between the union and the management. The best process are to settle the issue. If you are going with the approach that yes, this is a right of the worker, we should give it, definitely you have to settle. But if you are going with the adamant mind, I am the management, whatever they will say, I will not accept, then the matter will not be settled. So try to, whatever is the demand of the worker, you must give. I have seen in most of the cases, even management suspend any worker, they are legally bound to give the subsistence allowance. But in 80% cases, management were not giving the subsistence allowance. Why you are not giving the subsistence allowance when there is a provision for the payment of the subsistence under the act? In the Bharat Gold Mine case, Supreme Court gave a verdict that non-payment of the subsistence allowance is the violation of Article 21 of the Constitution, which is a fundamental right that you are depriving a person from his life and personal liberty. So if you are not paying subsistence allowance, you are not paying a subsistence allowance to a particular man. You are giving death blow to their families. So this is not a good habit on the part of management. When you will be the person manager, HR manager or anywhere, you have to do that particular thing. Pay all the things for which they are entitled. Secondly, under Payment of Wages Act 1936, if less than 1,000 workers are there, you have to pay before saving. If more than 10,000 workers, you have to pay up to saving. And there should be no illegal deduction from the wages of the any employee. Under this, if you are taking the work from the contract worker and you have engaged the contractor, you must appoint a HR officer to see whether they are giving the minimum wages as prescribed by the government or not. Otherwise, you will be the responsible. Work contractor will complete the work, he will go outside, he will again do the work somewhere. But if the matter will come to the authority under the Minimum Wages Authority Act, then you have to face the problem with the penalty up to 10 times. Under Section 21(4) of the Contract Labor Act, it is the responsibility of the principal employer for any unpaid wages not paid by the contractor. And employer will recover that amount as a debt from the contractor, but you will go in the litigation and you will be responsible. As a minimum wages authority, I dealt so many cases on that point, and you will be surprised to know that most of the public sector undertaking personnel, those who were up to the level of GM personnel, they were not followed the norms of the Minimum Wages Act, and they have suffered a losses. Though I have given one-time penalty to them, still there was a loss of approximate 10 lakh, 12 lakh and 15 lakh. Where I have given more penalty, they went to the High Court and matter was upheld. In the Asiad case, in 1982, people were knowing very well, and the Asiad was the work done by the Delhi government and government of India. It was a joint venture, and contractor were not paid the minimum wages. The matter went to the Supreme Court in 1982. Supreme Court given direction that it is a responsibility of the principal employer to pay the difference of wages to all the workers. And in that case also it was given, it is a fundamental right of the worker to get the minimum wages, and it is the responsibility of the principal employer to look after whether contractor is paying or not, and basically not a principal employer as a HR manager. And I have seen most of the HR manager were ignorant about this, because they got the job in the public sector or in a private sector, they never read the book, they never updated their knowledge. That's why company suffered a loss. And I will tell you one of the additional GM of the this Steel Authority India Limited imprisoned by court for 3 months for this violation of the labor law as a HR manager. So responsibility of the HR manager, for your fault, for your ignorance of knowledge, the top management may suffer, because whatever will be the consequences, it will come to your, it will come on the head of the top management, that is director, managing director, or CMD. One thing I will tell regarding the career opportunity in the HR, one of the things in HR, I personally feel it is a very good field if you want to do. Very challenging task. Every time you will do something better for the organization. First thing is that after completing your MBA in HR, you may apply for this administrative officer job. Second, HR job. Now there are so many branches in the big industry like talent acquisition, competency making, personal policies, and other things. Then labor officer's job. So as an administrative officer, as an executive officer, as an HR officer, as a labor officer, as you may join any organization in the HR field, but there is no same and separate formula for this. Again, coming to the industrial relation is going for a change. Government has enacted the industrial relation code. It is a very big subject now, and government is intending to implement it very soon. So industrial relation now 29 labor law has been converted into 4 codes. So one code is a industrial relation code in which they merge 3 act, basically Trade Union Act, Employment Standing Order Act, and this Industrial Dispute Act 1947. And when the government will issue notification, it has been passed by the cabinet, got assent of the president. Rules are under preparation. When the rules will be framed, it will be implemented, and date of implementation will be informed by the government. The day Industrial Relation Code will be implemented, the 3 Act, which was called as the Industrial Relation Law, will be repealed. And this industrial relation, which is coming in this, penalty is a higher side, from 50,000 to 2 lakh on the employer on certain provisions. So as a HR manager, your responsibility comes on this point, that there should be no violation on the part of the industrial relation law or other labor laws. As a HR manager, you have to develop your skill day by day, so that the day you will find you are having expertise in knowledge. I will tell one example, that I was the regional labor commissioner, and there was a strike in the Steel Authority India Limited. And I was getting pressure from even the ministry, strike should be called off. I called the top management. There were assistant manager to general manager. All 9 officers were present. And all central trade union, there was a 9 central trade union was there, and they were very adamant not to call off the strike. I started the consultation at the time around 10:30 a.m. and it was continued even at 6:30. When I was convincing one union, another union say that this term is not acceptable to me. And one thing, during the course of discussion, I find one trade union leader was very aggressive. And just I grabbed his tone. I told to my steno, call that person in your room, ask him for a cup of tea, and ask him from where he is. So he told ki he belongs to Maharajganj. I also belongs to Maharajganj. It was near Gorakhpur district, Nepal border. I told him, go and my steno informed me, he is from Maharajganj. And just he went and told, yes, our commissioner is also from Maharajganj. And I asked his village. He was just 5 kilometers away from my village. Then I told to my steno, go and say, do you not want your officer should be success in this call of strike? He is from your village and he is saying right thing. Everyone was agreed and you are from his place, you are not being agreed. Then I have given break for 15 minutes. I called the tea and everything. Then I asked from him whether you are going to call off a strike. It is your industry, not my industry, only on the part of the Ministry of Labor. I am doing my effort. I am a sincere effort. I could not go for the lunch. And this was a great achievement for me. I call off the strike and he was agreed. Yes, you are saying correct. We are agreed. I think 1 hour session has been completed. If anyone is having question on the HR and industrial relation, then free to ask me. I'm ready to give the reply for that.
Thank you, sir. Interesting session. Any student, any question if they have, please come forward. Unmute, raise your hand. I think we had a very intuitive and very interesting session, sir. You have shared some very valuable insights on industrial HRM and industrial relations. Most of us may not be aware of the challenges that are related to this field. Maybe in employment relations, HRM, workplace changes, and things like that. We are thankful that you have spared time and come forward to interact with the students. May I now invite Dr. Joshi to please propose a vote of thanks to Dr. Ashish Srivastava.
A very good afternoon. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of IPS, I extend my gratitude to the distinguished speaker, Dr. R.C. Srivastava, for giving us an insight on industrial HRM and industrial relations. Though the canvas was large, but you have given us the clarity and thoughts to ponder. We thank you, sir, for taking out time from your busy schedule. We look forward for more such sessions with you. I thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Madhu Vinay, for his strategic initiative. So we gain a lot from these interventions. An honest thank to the web series convener, Dr. Sanjeev Malviya, faculty coordinator, Dr. Ankita Srivastava, technical support, Mr. Akhilesh Singh and Mr. Himanshu Pandey, and student coordinator, Mr. Ramesh. Last but not the least, I thank the wonderful participants. Thank you. Stay safe, stay blessed. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you once again for all the students of Advanced Marketing Management. We'll be starting the session at 12:25. We'll give you 10 more minutes to you. So thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you to all the faculty members, Dr. Sanjeev, Dr. Joshi, and your beloved Vice Chancellor, in whose leadership your organization is heading #1 in the Uttarakhand.
Yes, sir.
And this is a team leadership provided by your Vice Chancellor and your cooperation and coordination that your organization achieved this position in Uttarakhand. Definitely, your student will be future manager for the organization. Thank you. Thank you to invite and call me.
Thank you, sir. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Leave karo.
Shubhadeep, I think you can end the session. Students will be meeting at 12:25 for the advanced marketing management session.
Sanjeev, sir, should I conclude this session?
Yeah, please go ahead and conclude it. Thank you, Shubhadeep.
Thank you, sir.